criminal, but as a product of tragedy. A boy broken by circumstance, a young man who had grown up in the shadow of a fractured home. He told the jury Ethan wasn't a monster. He was a casualty of neglect, a child crying out for help in all the wrong ways. But here's the chilling part. While Clark spoke, Ethan didn't look like a boy in pain. He looked smug. That smirk never left his face, and jurors noticed. And that's where the story deepens, because in trials like these, it's not always about what's said. It's about what's seen. Courtrooms, for those who have never stepped into one, aren't just legal chambers. They're theaters. Every gesture, every silence, every pause is part of a performance, whether intentional or not. Clark understood this. He tried to craft a narrative where Ethan was the misunderstood youth, but Ethan himself sabotaged that story. Instead of looking vulnerable, he radiated arrogance. Instead of remorse, he showed mockery. And this is where psychology collides with justice. Because jurors aren't robots, they're human. They can feel when something doesn't align. When words say one thing, but the eyes scream another truth. The eyes of Ethan Walker didn't plead for forgiveness. They dared the jury to challenge him. Meanwhile, across the aisle, the Campbell family sat shattered yet determined. David Campbell's wife clutched a tissue, her hands trembling, her face pale from weeks of grief. Their teenage daughter stared straight ahead, her jaw tight, refusing to let Ethan see her cry. To them, this wasn't theater. It was life and death. And then there was Elizabeth Walker, Ethan's mother. She hadn't spoken yet. She sat in silence, her posture stiff, her eyes scanning the floor as if she were carrying the heaviest secret in the room. But everyone knew, sooner or later, her voice would be heard. And when it was, it could make or break the trial. Because who knows a child better than their mother? The prosecution began calling witnesses. Forensic experts laid out chilling details of the crime scene. Blood spatter patterns that told a story no defense could erase. Police officers described Ethan's arrest, the cocky smile, the laughter that echoed even as he was handcuffed. Character witnesses spoke about David Campbell, painting a portrait of a man whose only crime was being in Ethan's path. And yet, every time something damning was said, Ethan chuckled under his breath. He whispered to his attorney. He shook his head as if he were the smartest man in the room. Jurors glanced at him, unsettled. Some even frowned. And slowly, the cracks in Clark's strategy began to show. When it was their turn, the defense rolled out their counter. Michael Clark called psychologists to the stand. They described Ethan as a boy trapped in cycles of dysfunction, someone who had never learned empathy because it was never taught to him. They spoke of childhood isolation, lack of fatherly guidance,